Valerie, why is cupping becoming more and more popular among athletes?
Well, most likely it's because acupuncture in general and Chinese medicine, I think, is much more widely accepted and promoted than it used to be. You know, the World Health Organization has always said that there's many, many ailments that are, helped with acupuncture, Chinese medicine, and of course cupping. And in the States, I think there was a little more hesitation, whereas in China, everyone knows about it. Everybody, has the option of going to the hospital and having acupuncture or having cupping or having, herbs and so forth, or having Western medicine. And it's just not as widespread over here. People don't know as much about it. It's not mysterious or mystical. It's just it's not necessarily part of our culture. We didn't grow up with it. We haven't seen it done as much, and so forth. Luckily, this past year, in the last year and a half, it's been passed that acupuncture is accepted and treated. Medicare will pay for low back pain to be treated by acupuncture, which is a huge stride forward for our profession, my profession as an acupuncturist. So what we're seeing is that more people are aware of the benefits. It's much more mainstream. And, athletes are always looking for something natural, that is allowed, to push their body to the limit to get the best, abilities that they have, to develop their training, to become the strongest, the fastest, and all of that. And this is natural. There's the side effects really are the visibility of the suction cups. If you have some petechia there, people are going to see it. I have a picture of Gwyneth Paltrow from years ago on the red carpet in a backless dress, and she had cup marks. And I'm like, hey, I know what that is. So it's been out there, but not a lot of people sport them, They're not going to show off their cup marks. And now that it's becoming more mainstream, more accessible to people, finding that they're really, if it's done properly, like anything else, there really aren't any side effects, and it can push your body to the limits that you want safely.
Great lesson today. Dr. Valerie, what is the difference between a stationary cupping and moving cupping?
Oh, yes. There are different ways to apply cups. Absolutely. And there's, different ways to use treatments and to do treating with cupping. You can, place the suction cups on the skin and, leave them there in one place. So say if somebody is having low back pain, I can put a couple of cups on the low back and leave them there. And then, you leave them for a few minutes, maybe 2, 3, 5 minutes or more, and you look and you see, okay, there's some stagnation coming to the surface. Of course, it's working either way, but, there's some stagnation, or maybe I don't see so much stagnation. But, as an acupuncturist, I know that, say the trapezius muscle of the back, it's a really large muscle. There's other muscles in the back. So say someone is having low back pain. Well, maybe, it's connected to other parts of the body. Yes, of course it is. So, by doing moving cups, you can also, you put the cup on, it's a little bit lighter pressure, perhaps, because you have to be able to move it. First you apply an oil of some sort. I use a traditional Chinese oil, oil, but there's many out there that you can choose. And you put it on, and that allows the cup to move or slide. So you put the suction cup on the skin, and then you can move it up, and you move it along the muscle fibers, and you can just, cover large areas that way. So the benefit is you can, with less number of cups on the back, you can cover the whole back and cup the whole back, basically. It feels really good. It's a little bit more like a massage feel to it. And then the difference in how it looks afterward is that if you have a stationary cup, you're going to get the traditional looking cup mark, the circle of the cup and the petechiae, the minuscule little pinpoint bruises that come to the surface in the shape of a circle. Whereas moving cup, because it's moving the whole time, you can have a lot of petechiae that show up on all of that muscle group, the one muscle group that you're working on or the whole back, not in the shape of a circle. And one thing that I like to tell people coming in is, if someone's not had cupping before, I let them know, look, you're going to have a potential for this petechiae, this what could look like bruising, show up on your skin. So do you have a red carpet event tomorrow, or are you going to the beach, right? Because it's Florida. We live 10 minutes from Siesta Key Beach. Are you going to the beach tomorrow? Because we may not, is this something? And if they're like, oh, yeah, I want everyone to see my cup marks. Okay. All right. That's a different story, as long as you know, right? So I always make sure that people know ahead of time. There could potentially be, because again, if there's stagnation, it will show up. If there's not stagnation, it won't show up. And you never know until you get started. And so for the moving cup, you can have a larger area that has this petechiae that show up, or this bruising appearance on the skin. So, if you're going to the beach tomorrow, maybe it's not the thing to do unless you're doing it to show them off, which can happen too. Yeah. So there's benefits to both.
Wow.
They both feel good. They both do their job. Yeah.
It's great to have you on Sekou Radio, Dr. Valerie. This is Sekou Radio. If you're just joining us, Southwest Florida, Sarasota, Bradenton, Palmetto, and the world. Today our great guest is Dr. Valerie Daverio, who is instructing us about acupuncture and cupping. So we're on the subject of cupping. Dr. Valerie, what area of the body are treated with cupping?
Yes, that's a really good question. It's important to know. You need to understand cupping is really great for muscle groups and fascia and releasing of fascia. So there are certain areas of the body that you don't do cupping. It's contraindicated. So, for instance, over blood vessels, large blood vessels, so a lot of people say, oh, I have neck pain, my neck muscles are really tight and stiff. So, of course, if I have small cups for, say the SCM or the muscles in the back of the neck, the upper lats and things, and trapezius muscle, but, and smaller muscles or smaller cups for smaller muscle groups. But you never work over the carotid artery or any of the brachial plexus, underarms, right, inner thighs, that type of thing, where we have large vascular areas that you could create damage to, of course. And of course, you always ask people before we start, do you have any bruising or bleeding disorders? Because you can, there could be potential again for petechiae. And you don't want to create any damage to any blood vessels. So we can use it on muscle groups. Really typical is back, shoulders, some of the upper arms. You can cup the arms, you can cup the legs, any of the large muscle groups. You can do light cupping over the abdomen. What's really interesting and kind of fun is, it's kind of a craze right now. Online, you can even see videos about facial cupping, but you use small silicone little cups, and it's for anti-aging, and you can kind of puff up where you have fine lines and wrinkles. But you have to do it very gently, right. And you can order these kits online yourself, and it's basically for anti-aging. So you can cup a lot of areas of the body. The one thing is you need to be able to have access to the skin. So you can't cup the head because there's hair on it, because you have to be able to create that suction. Yes.
Right. Oh, this is such an interesting subject. Southwest Florida Sekou Radio. Great guest, Dr. Valerie Daverio. Unfortunately, we at the end of the show. Dr. Valerie, can you give us a conclusion about cupping? You have 1 minute, so we can invite more people to come see you.
Yeah, definitely. Well, cupping is a lot of fun. It's something that you can come in and just get a cupping session, or you could do cupping and acupuncture. But cupping is really fun. It's very non-invasive. For those people who are scared to come in and get acupuncture their first time, never seen or having it done, it's a great way for someone to come in, feel good, get rid of your muscle tension and your knots in your back and all of that, and just feel really good and feel renewed. Feel like that weight of the world that's upon your shoulders is removed. And, it also releases endorphins, so you feel good afterwards. And the sky is bluer, and you have a good day. And then, getting a better level of comfort, working that into potentially an acupuncture treatment to treat the whole body and some other underlying conditions. So it's fabulous. People feel good, their pain is gone, and they're much more relaxed.
Great. Thanks, Dr. Valerie. That was the end of our show today. Thank you so much for coming to us.